It's an Audi. It's got 270 horsepower. It's still four-wheel drive. It's still a TT. That's right, it's a Mark II TTS. So I've obviously got my reasons behind picking a Mark II this time. I'm going to talk you through what they are in a little bit when we can go for a drive, but in usual BWS TT fashion, this isn't ready to go for a drive. I turned up the other night, hadn't even seen the car, just paid the money and drove it away. And it was at that point I realised we've got a few issues that we need to deal with. So this rear left caliper is really badly sticking. The thermostat, I can't get the car above 75 degrees, which means I'm using loads of excess fuel. And then I looked through the service history and found that yes, the cam belt had been done 50,000 miles ago, but that was 9 years ago. So yeah, there's a few things I need to get done before I can take you for a drive. So I'm going to do a separate video on why you shouldn't buy the cheapest TTS on eBay. That will include more detail about the repairs that I'm going to go through. So yeah, I'm just going to get those done now and then we can jump in the car, go for a drive. I'll give you my first impressions and see what I think. We might even get the first impressions of my wife. We might even get the first impressions of all the Mark I TT community at the next Mark I TT meet when I turn up in a Mark II. But yeah, for now, I need to get my hands dirty. So I did try and rewind the caliper, but the piston just didn't want to move at all. And the pad had been set in the same position for so long, it was just seized solid. So obviously I stripped everything down, gave it a thorough clean. And at this point you can see that the caliper is fitted, there's fluid going everywhere, but I like to pressurise the system so that no air can get in. It does make the bleeding process a lot easier. Obviously made sure that the pad was moving freely inside the carrier, and then just fitted the caliper on. Now I actually did both sides because the calipers were so cheap, it just made sense to do them both while I was there. But after bleeding it, it still didn't seem right, so I had a look at the fronts, and it's hard to tell from these angles, but it's the wrong pad, and it was actually sitting over the outer lip and really not doing very much. Half the pad was doing nothing whatsoever. Way more difficult on this than it is on the 225, I tell you. A lot more needs removing. All good fun though. Now ignore how dirty the engine bay is, we will clean that at some point, but for now the cam belt is done and we are ready to go for a drive. So, I can finally take it for a drive, show you why I bought it. So as I come out of my estate here, this bit of road is absolutely awful, but this mag ride's soaking it up quite nicely. It's not too bad. If I put the, ooh, there we go, stiff suspension, I can feel every single bump. So let's put that into soft mode again. Now you might notice that I'm wearing my full Nürburgring attire. That's because that's the reason I bought this car primarily. You know, this is going to drive me to the gym once a week, maybe twice a week. That's how you get so svelte like me. But yeah, then it is really going to be for road trips to places where I want to be driving fast. So I can just drop a gear and just put my foot down and it goes. Yeah, I mean, chassis wise, it's a better chassis than the Mark I. I'm sorry all you Mark I lovers, I still love the Mark I, but like I say, out the box, this chassis is just better. So then when you start throwing performance modifications at it, it's even better. Now I don't want to have to do too much of that, because one of the things I hated about my Mark I track car was that, yeah, it just wasn't enjoyable to drive anywhere other than the track. The idea behind this is it needs to stay enjoyable for whatever I choose to do. So yeah, I can do things like the anti-lift kit on the wishbone to help with the geometry. But other than that, and like I say, if the mag ride doesn't turn out to be any good, maybe coilovers. Other than that, I don't really want to have to do anything. That's 60. That's plenty. Sounds alright as well, doesn't it? One of the things that I want to do is a sports cat or a D cat, we'll see. But that really does add to the noise and helps the turbo flow, obviously. Why else did I buy a Mark II? Well, you've got to do things a little bit differently sometimes, haven't you? I've owned, it's got to be over 50 Mark I's, and I've worked on thousands, and I'm at the point where I just, I fancied something a little bit different. I've been looking at these for a little while, just seeing what's going on with the market, and like I say, when this one came up at the price that it came up at, I couldn't really say no. Yes, I'm going to have to spend a little bit of money on maintenance and things like that, but to be honest with you, any car of this age, you should always be factoring having to do some maintenance. So that really didn't bother me that much. So now really, a couple of tyres on the back because they're near the limit, and she's good to go and enjoy for the winter. I'm just going to chuck this into this corner now with confidence. I know this corner very well. Now on these roads, I'm not convinced the alignment is quite perfect because I'm starting to feel it a little bit, but it just gives you so much confidence. And there's always other cars around to spoil your fun. Oh well. So you remember how quick the papaya was? Mm-hmm. Okay. What do you reckon?
A little bit fast.
That wasn't fast.
No, it definitely pulls quicker than the papaya.
So, we've got a Mark 1 owner, Mark 1 owner, Mark 1 and Mark 2 owner. Although you just got rid of the Mark 1?
Yeah.
Traitor. So, I suppose the question is, obviously you look at these Mark 1s, brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you like about them?
The originality of them, the design.
Yeah, the general look of them, and they were the first ones
Being
out.
the first ones, the iconicness.
So obviously, yeah, Mark 1s are great. Mark 2s,
It's just getting and go, isn't it?
they're just not pretty, are they? They're just not pretty.
They're all right. They have moved with basically the standard Audi sort of looking car, really, didn't they?
Yeah. You look at it from like
It's Audi.
It's just an Audi.
Yeah.
It's not a TT. It's nothing fancy, is it?
Closer to the look of the Mark 1 than the Mark 3 though.
Yeah, but the Mark 3 is individual.
Yeah.
So the Mark 3 there, it's got its own look. Yeah, I could never own a Mark 2. They're just awful.
Scrap them all, mate.
Scrap them all, yeah, just keep Mark 1s. Black Mark 1, everything looks really nice. The black Mark 2 here, come and tell me what you think to black Mark 2s instead of a black Mark 1. Like,
Right, so taking the Mark II in isolation,
yeah,
great car, great looks, everything. But to me, it just doesn't look as good as the Mark I.
I completely agree. Completely agree.
Yeah, I'll admit.
I couldn't agree more that the Mark II just has not got the looks when you compare it to a Mark 1.
In every other way, it's better than the Mark I.
Oh yeah, chassis-wise,
Yeah.
engines, you know, but the Mark 1 is where it's at, 100%. What's that? Original's best?
The original's best.
Original's best?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Thought so.
Nothing else looks like one.
We don't like that. We do like that. All right. So what were you just asking?
Where's your Mark 1?
Where's my Mark 1? What have I come down in?
Where is it? Is that this one here? secret driver.
That is
Still.
You came down in the Mark 2.
Yeah.
Traitor.
Yes. I am a traitor. I'm sorry, guys.
It was that.
So look at this. People are taking pictures of all the Mark 1s, but they just don't care about the Mark 2s.
I've got a Mark 2.
Yeah. They're just rubbish, though, aren't they, the Mark 2, compared to the Mark 1?
I like the Mark 2.
So, that was a really fun morning at the Tote at the Cafe breakfast meet. A nice place to showcase my new Mark II. Great little meet because the Audi Addicts group with Andy Charger at the helm, the meets that they do, they're not exclusively Mark 1. So there was a couple of Mark 2 and Mark 3 owners there already, which kind of helped. But yeah, were you as surprised as some of those people were that I'm now in a Mark 2? I'm really enjoying this car. Now obviously I did a few things to it that you saw at the start of the video that needed to be done so that I could drive it, but now we need to get onto the upgrades. So stay tuned, there's going to be plenty more content, but just to whet your appetite a little bit, we've got big brakes and a strong clutch setup already sat there waiting to be fitted. So until next time, I'll see you later. Cheers guys.